Hello students, how's your day? Hopefully everything's gonna be okay soon, and I really hope that you are doing well. Okay, this afternoon we'll have our online course. Here I am with my cup of tea and pisang goreng. It's good. This is English for medical purpose. There are a lot of subjects to discuss out there, but I choose to focus on this one subject. Bio. Bioethics. Well, I have given to you already the book to learn. The title is Casebook on Human Dignity and Human Rights, Bioethics Core Curriculum. This book was launched by UNESCO from United Nations in 2011. As you can see in the table of contents, this book contains 30 bioethics case studies to learn. Well, since we only have 14 meetings, therefore I will only pick 14 case studies out of 30 so we can discuss together. Okay, now dear students, for this first meeting, I will only explain you the foreword of the book. Why foreword? Because the foreword will give us enlightenment about the history of the book, the importance of the book, and the purpose of the book. Okay, let's read it together. Foreword. The framework for action of the 1999 World Conference on Science in Budapest, under the aegis of UNESCO and the International Council for Science, or we can call it ICSU, states that ethics and the responsibility of science should be an integral part of the education and training of all scientists. So the ethics should be the integral part of education and training of all scientists, and that they should be encouraged to respect and adhere to basic ethical principles and responsibilities of science. You know, when you get smarter, you have to have more responsibility. You have to embrace more ethics. You have to express the ethical principles. Because if you are very, very smart and you have no ethics at all, then you will ruin the life, you will ruin the world. During the 32nd UNESCO General Conference in 2003, member states expressed the need to initiate and support teaching programs in ethics, not only in bioethics, but in all scientific and professional education. In response to these statements and to the teaching of ethics in 2003, report by UNESCO's World Commission on Ethics of Scientific Knowledge and Technology, or we can call it COMEST, the organization launched its Ethics Education Program, EEP, in 2004 to reinforce and increase the capacities of member states in the area of ethics education. A dimension of the EEP is the establishment of the Advisory Expert Committee on the Teaching of Ethics, composed of members of COMEST and UNESCO's International Bioethics Committee, or IBC, as well as representatives of the UNESCO chairs in bioethics, the Academy of Sciences for the Developing World, TWAS, and the World Medical Association, WMA. The first task of this ad hoc committee was to develop the UNESCO Bioethics Core Curriculum, this book, launched in 2008, which sets out to introduce the bioethical principles of the 2005 Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights, hereafter referred to as the Declaration to University Students. The Declaration embodies a set of bioethical principles that has been agreed upon by the member states of UNESCO after an intense elaboration and consultation process involving independent and governmental experts from all regions of the world. So the case studies in this book, all 30 of them, already elaborated by a lot of parties: the government, the professional medics, the experts, and other parties. This set of bioethical principles provides a common global platform by which bioethics can be introduced and strengthened within each member state, all countries. And UNESCO is mandated to promote, disseminate, and elaborate these principles for practical purposes. Since bioethics teaching has not been introduced in many universities in many countries, the UNESCO Bioethics core curriculum can provide an incentive to start introducing such teaching. Furthermore, its content does not impose a particular model or specific view of bioethics, but articulates ethical principles that are shared by scientific experts, policymakers, and health professionals from various countries with different cultural, historical, and religious backgrounds. It means that the case study in here should be discussed together. It's not, I will not dictate you to obey the principles in this book, but you can discuss this with your friends, with your other lecturers, with the journals that you have read, and then you conclude based on your own belief, based on your own institution, constitution, and cultural background. We may have differences in making conclusion about this case. However, we must have one common principle: bioethics. Bio means life, and ethics means a good way to live with. Both of us, despite our differences, we must support a good way to live the life. The casebook you have before you is part of the UNESCO Bioethics Core Curriculum Casebook series, launched by UNESCO in 2011 and designed to be used with the core curriculum or as standalone study material for one of the bioethical principles in the Declaration. The casebook series is intended to reinforce the introduction of ethics teaching, especially in developing countries like Indonesia. In order to encourage wide dissemination and usage of this series, the casebooks are freely available in hard copy as well as for electronic download through the UNESCO website www.unesco.org. Finally, on behalf of UNESCO, I would like to express our gratitude to the Advisory Expert Committee on the Teaching of Ethics, especially to Professor Amnan Karmi, the coordinator of the working group, as well as to the other members of the working group responsible for this casebook, for their commitment and voluntary assistance to the work of UNESCO in the strengthening of ethics education around the world. The writer, Daphna Feinholz, Chief Bioethics Section, Division of Ethics and of Science and Technology, Social and Human Science Sector. Okay, dear students, now I give you case study 2 to be analyzed. Try to read the case study carefully and then answer the question in the case study. I have given you the link below. And remember, when you answer the case study 2, remember the principle of Declaration of Human Rights. I will summarize you in these two principles. Principle number 1, human dignity, human rights, and fundamental freedoms are to be fully respected. And principle number 2, the interest and welfare of the individual should have priority over the sole interest of science or society. Okay, good luck for all of you.